The connection where I am right now is not fantastic, but let's just give this a shot. We're about to get ready to start the Celebration of Life Luau event for Tony. We are in Excelsior, Minnesota. It is about 1,000 degrees outside. True story. So instead of trying to find some shady nook to sit down and do this little chat, I'm hiding in the car with the air condition blasting. Oh boy. I wanted to do a really quick chat since it seems appropriate given the circumstances. What do Scientologists believe about end of life? What are Scientologists' beliefs surrounding funerals? Things like that. And this might seem obvious for those of you who already understand what Scientologists believe about past lives and reincarnation and kind of the prison planet matrix aspect of the Scientology belief system. But all Scientologists that I have ever known are cremated at the end of their life. And it's not that there's any L. Ron Hubbard instruction that you're supposed to be cremated. I've never seen such an instruction. However, the Scientologist beliefs about the body, the value of the body, the meaning or lack of meaning of the body, and what their beliefs about the afterlife do tend to dictate that cremation is the only thing that kind of makes sense. There's also the fact that L. Ron Hubbard was cremated. If Scientologists are basically trying to always answer that question, what would L. Ron Hubbard do? Well, the answer is L. Ron Hubbard was cremated. Okay, but why was L. Ron Hubbard cremated? Well, for those of you who may not know, and I guess I'm going to start doing these videos more geared towards assuming someone hasn't already, been exposed to this information. Otherwise, why do a video about it? Is Scientologists believe that planet Earth is a prison planet. That there's a galactic federation. I forget how many planets in this galaxy are supposed to make up the galactic federation. I forget. But that this planet Earth, is kind of an outpost prison planet where troublemakers are sent. And Scientologists believe that all of us as living human beings are actually just inanimate meat and water sacks animated by a spiritual being called a Thetan. And that Thetans are everywhere. All life is animated by Thetans. That life exists everywhere. Life pretty much exists on all planets, kind of like a Star Wars type approach, a Star Wars type understanding to life, intelligent life on other planets. That intelligent life is everywhere. And one of the things that you learn at the upper levels of Scientology is that a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, believe me, this has to do with the whole cremation thing. A long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, a politician, a very not so nice guy named Xenu, decided that his planets were overpopulated and he wanted to get rid of, say, approximately half the population. So he called them all in. Oh, and these planets in this are enormous. These planets have like trillions of people living on them, or a trillion. Like, it's a lot, much, much, much bigger than Earth. He called about half the population in for a tax audit. And the joke was on them, though. They weren't really coming in for a tax audit. He was like, psych, and he froze them in glycol, and he loaded all these people up onto space planes that looked like DC-8s or something, if I recall correctly. And he flew all of these bodies with beings inside of them to Earth and dropped them in volcanoes and blew them up with hydrogen bombs. And that is sort of the story of how spiritual beings came to be here on Earth. Now, that is not Scientology's story of how biological life came to be on Earth. Scientologists do, for the most part, believe in natural selection and the evolution of the human body, perhaps guided by the intelligence of Theta or Thetans. Okay, so now you also have that only partially answers the question of where do the Thetans that animate the bodies come from? Because the story that I just told you about the volcanoes, those are called body Thetans. Those aren't just called regular Thetans. Those are called body Thetans. And body Thetans stick to physical bodies by the tens of the thousands, like parasites, like spiritual parasites, demons, if you will. And I'll tell you, the one thing that I never heard L. Ron Hubbard describe is, okay, but how did the normal Thetans come to Earth? The normal Thetans who get reborn lifetime after lifetime, animating a body, because body Thetans are a different type of thing. And I would like to hear other former Scientologists chime in on what their understanding was of how did the normal Thetans come to Earth. Okay, because those normal Thetans, they are here as part of the literal prison planet program. And how that works is when your body dies, you've already been kind of pre-programmed to like teleport, because Thetans don't really exist in space or time. They can exist anywhere at any time. You're sort of pre-programmed to teleport to the implant station, the Between Lives implant station, that exists either on the far side of the moon or on Venus or on Mars. Different former Scientologists will tell you different things that they understood it to be. And those implant stations are basically run by alien psychiatrists. And the purpose of those implant stations is to wipe your Thetan memory, your spirit memory, to give you amnesia of the life that you just lived and all lives that you lived prior to that. And then you are pre-programmed to shoot down into your local maternity ward or wherever babies are being born or have just been born. And you're shoot down into a new body, and you are basically sentenced to, essentially condemned to live a new lifetime with full amnesia of your previous lives, and full amnesia, of course, of your native God-like powers that you as a Thetan have or would have in your native state. And that is how the alien psychiatrist overlords of the imprisoners of this planet manage planet Earth as a prison. The best way to keep the prisoners in the prison is to make them unaware that they're in a prison, and actually to make them even happy to be there. And this is where Scientologist beliefs about organized religion come into play. That humankind has also been kind of electronically programmed spiritually to evolve the world's major religions to convince the majority of the people on Earth that you only live one lifetime. And there's no point in trying to figure out how to erase the spiritual amnesia that the alien psychiatrist prison guards or overlords, I just kind of use these words interchangeably. There's no reason to seek any greater spirituality beyond, live as good of a life as you can while you're here, and then you'll go to either heaven or hell or whatever, right? Okay, so, well, what does all that have to do with being cremated? Because Scientologists believe that the bodies are just meaningless. They're just meaningless. You've had trillions of bodies in your existence. There's no point spending money on a coffin. There's no point spending money on a tombstone. These things are just totally pointless. They have they wouldn't serve any meaning in Scientology. Whereas I won't claim to truly understand what Catholics believe. But, and what your average, garden variety Christian truly believes as far as the value of burying the body, preserving the body. I don't claim to know those things. But I do know that there are some beliefs, guys, correct me if I'm wrong in the live chat. There are some beliefs that are there not some belief systems where if you cremate the body that actually prevents you from going into heaven or hell? I don't, or to heaven, or the afterlife or whatever. I don't know, guys. I make mistakes every time I try to wade into commenting on what the other beliefs are, because the truth is I've never really studied them. So that is why Scientologists always get cremated. It's also why you're not really expected or allowed to show misemotion. Now in Scientology, misemotion is sometimes defined as inappropriate emotion. In other places, it's defined as any emotion below antagonism or below on L. Ron Hubbard's chart of human emotion, the tone scale. You're not really expected, and you're not really allowed to be sad and crying and somber and remorseful and regretful at funerals. It's considered negative emotion, and it's not even appropriate for the circumstances, because the Thetan did not die. The Thetan in that body did not die. And there's nothing particularly upsetting about the body itself dying. And the only reason somebody would experience that negative emotion is because they're having earlier incidences of pain and unconsciousness and loss restimulated. And so therefore it's actually considered negative to express that emotion in present time, because it shows that you are You're going the effect of your reactive mind. You're going the effect of the engrams and the secondaries and the locks that exist in the reactive mind. And good Scientologists don't do that. Good Scientologists only show appropriate emotions above 2.0 on the tone scale and are always in present time and are never being negatively affected by anything in their past. That's if you're a good Scientologist. So that is really the reason for cremation. It's not necessarily why cremation. It's really more why not? Why would anyone spend $1 more than they have to bringing because someone dropped their body? And that's the other thing. Scientologists use that phrase. He dropped his body. She dropped his body. They dropped their body. They don't actually say die, because what died? Nothing died. The life force called a thetan that was animating that body left that body, and that body is now just a body. It's no longer body plus thetan, and that's what they believe. That is what they believe. I don't really, because of this portrait live streaming, it's really almost impossible for me to watch this chat here. But yeah, I can scroll up and down. But honestly, the event is about to begin, so I'm going to get back over there. It is, like I said, guys, almost 1,000 degrees and almost as humid as Florida. I did not quite expect that. All right, guys, that is it for me. That's probably all I'm going to do today. We'll see, unless something's wild happening later and we just want to jump on a live. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll talk to you soon.